All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first Medsembly interview. What we try to do is we try to highlight our super awesome mentors, and just so you guys can have like a little bit of a background on what they do, what they can do to help you. Today we have one of the best, I think, anyway. Her name is Bryana. And I'm just gonna let her say a couple things about herself, so you guys can. So yeah, go ahead, Bryana, introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you, Ben. So my name's Bryana. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse for now 3 years. I'm a pandemic baby is what I call myself. I graduated May of 2020, so all I've known is this COVID world and how healthcare has transformed. Currently, I'm a ICU nurse, so I work in a surgical kind of setting. So we usually just call ourselves surgical ICU. I have a bit of background in just like med-surg, PCU. I kind of worked my way up. I'm currently now in a new role of pre-op nursing, so I'm always kind of ready for what nursing has to offer, which is one of the main reasons I entered nursing. The opportunities are endless, bedside or not, so I'm really on this platform to bring that opportunity to you, to bring this information to you, to nursing students, to nurses, or to anyone just interested in healthcare. So I'm really excited to kind of just casually chat and hopefully get some information out there and hopefully answer some questions in the future.
That's so awesome, Bryana. I'm sure people are going to learn a lot about you. You also have an Instagram page. I know I follow it, and you have so many awesome videos. What is your tag name?
Yeah, so I go by @coffeewithconfidence_. I made it during nursing school. I was a coffee addict. Funny enough, I don't even drink as much coffee as I used to, but Coffee with Confidence, cute little name, but it's turned into a big page, and I love it so much. It's like a little passion project. So yeah, Coffee with Confidence_. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, trying to TikTok it, but I don't think it's going to be my main platform.
Yeah, I tried TikTok. I can't get into it, but the Gen Zers love it. So.
Yeah, I'll like and share, but I don't think I can do it.
Awesome. Well, follow her definitely. So we'll go ahead and get started with the interview. So the first question, super basic question: what drew you into nursing compared to like other health careers?
Yeah, it's a great question because I think a lot of us who kind of know like science, that was like my big thing in high school. I was definitely like science nerd. I loved biology, loved anatomy and physiology. I knew I wanted to be in healthcare. But what drew me to nursing was really the ability to do anything I wanted with it. When I was thinking like MD route, when you become a doctor, you have to become a resident fellowship within a certain kind of what's the word? Not the same department. Because I'm thinking hospital.
Specialty.
Specialty. There you go. Specialty. And I didn't want to be limited by that. I loved everything. I loved cardiac. I loved just everything in general. So I didn't want to be limited. Back in the day, PA wasn't as big as it is now. I know PA is huge, and I know Medsembly app is big home to our PA students and PAers. So, but I also just like the liberty that nursing gives me. Working bedside 3 days a week, like heck yeah. It's a great schedule to let me live my life and do things I like. And also there's just so many opportunities in finance, in marketing, and I mean, you can be a content creator as a nurse, which I didn't think we would be here, but here we are. And I think you can just grow and exceed in all aspects of your life, and nursing can help support that. So that was my biggest thing.
Oh, that's awesome. That's such a great answer. So I'm going to be devil's advocate and just so we can, show all sides. I know a lot of people talk about, they have a negative view of nursing, right? They describe it as like very strenuous, very laborious. We have to deal with a lot of bodily fluids. Like there is like this negative perception of nursing compared to like other healthcare fields. Like you mentioned the PA, a lot of people might go the PA route because there's not that much maybe direct patient care. I think it's the right terminology. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I'm a preceptor, so I also engage in training new nurses, especially baby nurses. And I will always say, like, even in nursing school, do not go to nursing school because you're going to be coming home with a big fat check. Like, this stuff is hard, and it's hard for a reason because as a nurse, you have life in your hands, literally, This is no shame to my doctors, my peers. I mean, we are all a team, but the one who finds out there's something wrong is usually the nurse, right? The one who is in engaging in interventions and treatment plans is usually the nurse. So that's something I want to take a responsibility on. Now, is it taxing? Is it tiring? Absolutely. I just worked 5 days this week and I'm absolutely exhausted. You really have to have a passion for caring for people. I do think there's a lot of factors that are making nursing quite negative. I don't think it's the field itself. I think it's the system. So that's why I'm a huge advocate about finding a system that supports you and works with you, not against you. Because ratios is really a big thing that's going to, harbor on your passion for nursing, and it will die out very quickly if you're not in a safe staffing facility. So I think there's a lot of factors in it. I don't think nursing itself, I hate that, we just say nursing sucks. I'm like, nursing doesn't suck. Nursing is great. Hospitals suck. Systems suck. Pay sucks, certain things, but it's not the same everywhere. I mean, there are 50 states and nursing worldwide. I just came back from a conference and I engaged with over 4,000 nurses, and the difference in it is crazy. So I still think there's good opportunity, but I also hope to people who are still passionate about it to help us get to becoming, the next steps of change, helping us get into that action of changing nursing for the better. So nursing's going to be here forever. And what I always say is we're always going to need a nurse in our life, probably more than once. So.
That's amazing, Bryana. I love that, all the perspectives you're bringing, because of you're so well versed. Because me as a student nurse, you go into the hospital, you only hear the negative, right? The nurse is tired, and maybe she doesn't have as, or he, they don't have as much experience outside of their unit, so it's easy to become overwhelmed with that negativity. But I think the same as you, that there's so many different avenues, there's so many other ways to grow. So thank you for sharing that. So the second question is, what about nursing do you think sets it apart from the other healthcare professions?
I think it's control over your practice. You have a lot of say, you have a lot of autonomy, and I think people don't realize that. I feel like some people may think, I just give meds and perform orders. And there's so much more to that. That's your outline of your practice. But the way that you pursue your care, the way you engage with your patients, the way that you yourself hold yourself to that standard of nursing, it all comes from you. So you, every day is a different version of nursing for you. Trust me, there are days where I come in and I just I'm going to do the basics. Sorry guys, love you. But we're getting the basics done today, okay? And there's other days where I'm going above and beyond, and I am ambulating my patient 3 times, and I'm doing the most, and it's crazy. So I do think that the main reason, again, why I chose the profession is that autonomy. And I can change. I now do pre-op one day, and I do ICU the other day, and I stay home the other. It's just, I think the opportunities are really good.
That's awesome, Bryana. It's funny that you mentioned that. I remember doing a clinical rotation on peds, and they have a graph, right? And I guess they measure the interaction with the patient because it had such an impression on them and overall the whole hospital. So the hospital takes this metric so seriously, because if you have a bad nurse, you're going to have a bad hospital stay. So, and it doesn't matter if you have the best doctor. It doesn't matter if you have the best PA. What really matters is the attention of the nurse while you were there. So that's true. And I don't think people realize the impact that nurses have on the whole system.
Yeah, we are the front face. I mean, if you just snap fingers right now and pull a whole little what's that movie? I'm going to sound so bad. Like Marvel, Avengers.
I love the Avengers. It's okay.
The guy that snaps, and let's say you just snap away all nurses, healthcare would fall. Healthcare would literally fall. So I think we would. We're so much. We have such an importance, but I also think that you have to take your practice fairly, but also hold it to a high standard.
Definitely. Okay, so probably this is a redundant question because I can already tell you love nursing. But what's your favorite thing about nursing?
Oh gosh. Favorite thing about nursing? I think that every day is different. Every day is different. So for some people, that's a good thing. For some people, they're I just need a routine. I need to stick with it. So that's the beauty. Like I said many times, there's something out there for everyone. I personally enjoy going to work and not knowing what's going to happen. It is what it is, 12 hours, have some fun. But I have, friends who work like outpatient and they go like they're, the little like 9 to 4, they know what they're doing, they're things like that. So I just think, yeah, that's probably my favorite thing. My favorite thing is that I can walk into a really chill day or a really crazy day. So
Oh, that's awesome. That means you're very flexible. I know I'm a routine kind of person, so personally
okay.
I like routine, but I know like I really appreciate the person that can just do something on a moment's notice and like change their entire day. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. So that being said, on the other, on the flip side, what's your least favorite thing about nursing?
My least favorite thing of nursing is probably not being able to do my job. Um, and I don't think it comes from nursing itself. Like I said, it comes from the system. And like I've had just like there's so many people playing in the role of your patient's care, and it's really frustrating when you actually care and you want the best outcome for them, but someone in that team isn't giving that same effort. I've had doctors, literally, yesterday, they want to discharge my patient, and I look at the X-ray, and like this is his lung right here on the left side, and this is his lung on the right side. He had a huge pleural effusion, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the doctor said he can go home," and I was like, "Well, I don't think he's ready to go home." He's like, "He wants to go home." I'm like, okay, there's a difference between wanting to go home and like safely going home. And there's just a lot of like bickering and back and forth, and it can get very toxic very quickly. I try to stay out of the drama. I get it. We're like 13 people. We're human. We can't just like be robots and sit in our little like cubbies and do our job and not talk to anyone. So I think it can become very toxic very quickly. I've been part of, but I've seen, nurses getting very young. I've seen bullying. I've seen, like, just, I've seen it all. And like I said, I think it's really important. I myself have jumped places. I'm okay with saying I'm a jumper. I will never stay in a place that makes me feel exhausted, makes me feel bad about myself, makes me hate my life. Like, you will not catch me there. So I will jump as many times as I have to find a place that makes me feel happy.
I like that. I feel like I don't know who created that concept that jumping is a bad thing, but that's how you increase your skills. Just like the couple minutes I've gotten to know you, you've worked in so many departments. You picked up something from every department and increased your practice. Like it just makes you a better person. I mean, a more skillful nurse, I believe, rather than saying like, "Oh, let's just stay here and do this one thing for so and so many years." You know.
Yeah. And I've challenged, I've had, I'm in leadership positions as well, and I've challenged like nurse managers and have conversations with them about like this new generation of nursing that's coming up. And I'm really wanting these new nurses not to be afraid about jumping because it is essential. You hear these nurses, you meet Sally, and Sally's been a nurse for 20 years on this unit. It's all she's ever done. Like, congratulations, Sally. Love that for you. Not for me, though, babe. Like, we're not doing that. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think, just like you said, like we need to expand our skills, and the only way you do that is by doing something new. I think every specialty, every department, inpatient, even if you go outpatient, has its time limit. Like everything, we outgrow things. So the nursing is the same thing. You're going to outgrow your specialty. You're going to outgrow your skills, and all you can do is move on up or move to something different.
Yeah, I completely agree. So let's go with the next one. Okay. What type of nursing are you thinking of getting into and why? So I guess for you, it's what is your next step? Because you already have so much.
Jump.
Yeah. What's your next jump?
So I'm actually getting my master's in health administration. Through the years, especially like working in like the pandemic conditions, I really have evolved my passion from like direct patient care to more so system care because I don't want to lose nurses. Like I have so many students who DM me and are just like, Bryana, I can't do it. Like I go to clinical every day. I'm assigned to a nurse who hates her job. Like I'm not learning anything. I don't know if it's for me. So my next step, hopefully, I don't even know what the title is, but I want to get into something administrative. I want to sit at the table where we talk about policies. I want to sit at the table we talk about, statistics and logistics and why are we pushing these ratios? Is it really a financial burden if we have nurses at 4-to-1 compared to 5-to-1? Do we really have to cut all these corners to, make the hospital successful? Because unfortunately, when you're working in a hospital, it is a business. And I feel like us, in this Medsembly family that we have, we don't see our job as a business. We go to work and we see ourselves as healthcare professionals, but we are working in a business, just like you would work at Abercrombie, like Aerie, we are working as a business. So I'm excited to kind of learn about these aspects of healthcare and like the behind the scenes and share that. So I think it's going to give us a better understanding. I think as nurses, we have the right to know that information. Yes, all we know is, the physical side of the body and things like that. But I also think it's fair to know the logistics behind the business we're working for.
That's amazing. And I think that is like the natural next step for you, right? You got this far taking care of patients, but now you want to help populations. And that's how you're going to do it, by changing the systems. Because without systemic change, we're not going to see change. So
not change at all.
That's awesome. That's amazing for you. I love that for you.
I'm excited. I'm nervous, but we'll see. We'll see. We got time.
Maybe what you do, you can. I can tell. So the next question is, now that we know a little bit about you, can you tell me what excites you about Medsembly and being a Medsembly mentor specifically?
Yeah, so I think Medsembly, it's growing. Like every day, I feel like there's something new coming to the platform. I feel like there's something for everyone. And what I like is that it's just as simple as a click where you come on and you can just ask a question and someone will answer. Someone with some kind of experience will answer. I also just like the one-on-one mentoring. Because like you said, for example, as a student, you're not having the best clinical experiences, but you want to do nursing. Like you're already paying all this money, like can't back out now. So I think it's really nice to just go on an app and be like, hey, like I have these questions that I have not been able to find realistic answers to, in my clinicals or my study. Can you help me out? But I know we're advancing into like actual like having job searches on there. I'm kind of expanding our mentorship availability and services. So I'm really excited to just have a platform. Plus, it's kind of cool to like see what other specialties are talking about. Like when the PAs are like talking about their applications, and I'm like, I have no idea anything about that. So it kind of gives you a little bit more respect for everyone in the field and a better understanding of what everyone has to go through to get to where they are.
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't know anything about PAs until I was on the thing, and I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable. And I was like, I can tell you.
Yeah, I'm like the cycle, yeah, and all that. Like I know you have to do your recommendation letters. I know how to get ready. So,
and I think also now that like I guess it's being integrated. Since we're all together, we can learn from each other and then bring that back to our own profession, right? Yeah. Maybe having a couple recommendation letters before we accept nurses into a nursing program. I don't know if that's a practice for yours, but for mine it wasn't. But I think that would be great, getting a little bit of experience before doing it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. It's really interesting how each kind of profession has their own kind of requirements. For me, I had many different types. I had interviews. I had ones that did require recommendation letters. And yeah, I mean, I got into school. I got denied, and I got into school. So.
Oh, they were crazy to deny you.
Well, here we are. But it's me.
So the next one is, what changes do you hope to make in the world of nursing, and what role do you think mentorship might play within those changes? I know you already told me a little bit about the systemic change. What about like in the mentorship role? Like how do you think mentoring can change nursing?
Yeah, so I think having that support, I feel like a lot of us go into this blindly. Like, for example, I'm a first generation college student. I'm the only one in my family who's in medicine. So when I come home and I want to talk about my problems and my issues, like everyone's like, okay, like, it's really hard to come back from work and literally see people die. Literally see people deciding to stop care. Given ultimatums because I work in oncology, and in the blink of an eye, you just get told you have 6 months to live with the discovery. Like that's really hard and detrimental news. And I'm not saying it always has to be that extreme. It could be as simple as I didn't get to have lunch today. It is, like I said at the beginning of this interview, it is not for the weak. Nursing is not for the weak. It is a profession that you're going into. You really have to have that mindset of like, you got to be strong for this because you're supporting others in their weakest moment. But there's no one supporting us. And I want to change that. I want us to have that support so we can go into work, support others, and be supported while we're doing so. So that's the biggest thing that can come from mentorship. So I'm really excited to be part of that and to be part of some more connections.
That's awesome. I definitely want you as my mentor because you're right. Yeah. You see, like, I guess the best way to phrase it, it's you see little traumas each and every day, and over time that takes a wear on your own mental health, on your own life. Experiencing or being part of trauma constantly. You know, like you said, seeing death, breaking bad news, seeing someone hurt and in pain. I love pediatrics, and so many people tell me, "Oh, I couldn't do peds," and in my mind, it's like I love children. Like if I don't do it, who's going to do it? If people don't like, but I also understand that like I can't be exposed to that. Like others don't want to be exposed to that trauma because it's too painful, you know. So it takes a special kind of person. It takes mentorship. It takes talking it out, like you said. So thank you for doing that because it's needed.
Yeah, absolutely. I give you props for peace. I'm definitely one of those people who like, don't give me a child. Don't know what to do. But yeah, I think there's something out there for everyone. Everyone has their passion. And if you don't have a passion, a lot of students don't. There's this huge pressure in nursing school where when you're getting close to that graduation, you've got to know what you got to do. Like you need that job lined up. And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't have to like go get a job after graduation. You take some time off, focus on your NCLEX, and then figure out what you want to do. Like there are jobs everywhere. There will always be nurse opportunities. So I really think it's very important to early on, to my students to develop a good, healthy practice. Nursing school is very hard, and I think they did it on purpose to kind of get you prepared for the real world-ish. But it's the best time to start developing healthy habits, starting to, give yourself time while studying to also incorporate that when you start, working in the real world.
So that just sparked a question for me.
Okay.
Have you ever or were you ever offered like a job and you were like, I don't know if I want to be really great at this, but still took it to like challenge yourself?
I actually didn't. I did the opposite. So I got offered as a new grad, I did my practicum in the multi-system ICU, and I got offered a job there. And I said no. And everyone thought I was stupid. Like, they were like, how can you say no to the ICU? It's a dream. And I was like, I thought I liked critical care, and I felt really dumb. I was like, yeah, why am I saying no? And I just thought it was too much. A lot of people like that challenge. A lot of my friends went straight into the ICU, and I think I made a YouTube video about this. It's a really hot topic. Most people are shocked when I say that I said no. I don't think you need to challenge yourself at the beginning because that transition from student nurse to registered nurse is so hard, and it's nothing they talk about in school. There is no class of teaching you how to cluster your care or time manage or talk to patients or talk to doctors and deliver bad news at the same time while calling PC, while doing this, while nutrition to deliver a tray. Like, it is so overwhelming those first, I would say like 6 months of that transition. So I personally always suggest to my new nurses, find a place that even though it's not your passion, maybe it's not what you dreamed of. I'm going to be doing this for like 40 years. Like, if I start out with my dream, I'm going to be bored.
That's true.
That's why I'm like, find a place that has a really good support. Like, you want a really strong leadership team, you want a really good educator, you want some really positive nurses who are going to support you, and then you're going to build on your skills. And then you're going to get that support. And once you're there, once you're a competent nurse, then you can grow into whatever you want to be, whatever you want to do. So I think people take this advice kind of either they love what I'm saying or they hate what I'm saying, because a lot of people are like, no, I just want to do what I want to do. It's to their own. But from my experience, from not only going through that, but also precepting new nurses, like I've had a lot of new nurses come to the ICU and have had them leave during their training because it just was too much.
Yeah.
So I want you guys to keep that in mind, that transition itself is already overwhelming. So trying to chase through, that dream might not be the best thing to do immediately.
No, I love that. Reminds me of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You want to reach that self-actualization. Then there's steps to get there. You need these, this practice met before you're at that, self-actualization and
basic safety.
Exactly. You need to learn all these things, and then you can get there. So give yourself the time,
Yeah, that's a key right there. Yes, you're absolutely right. That's my opinion on it. I've seen nurses who go into that dream job and excel at it, and they're killing it, and they're growing in it. That's awesome, but I would hate for you to start there and not do well, and then feel even guilty about like, wow, I couldn't even do what I wanted to do. I don't want anyone to feel that way because there's so many other factors that are affecting you, and yeah, it's an icky feeling.
Yeah. Well, that's it, Brianna, for today. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been great getting to know you, and I'm sure everyone is going to love this great advice because it really is gold. You dropped some awesome nuggets today, and I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people. So thank you so much.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for creating this. I'm excited. Hopefully, when we post this, maybe we can get some conversation started, and maybe we can make another one. I'm really excited to hopefully. I would love to do a panel with some of our PAs and our doctors, and just like talk about some things, and make it a nice conversation. But I wish you the best of luck in school. You're done though, right?
Yes, I just finished. So I'm studying for my NCLEX, and it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's super exciting. So if you need any tips, I know NCLEX are doing the new NCLEX, which is even more searing and frightening. But I wish you the best of luck. We're always here for everyone. And I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, you're going to pass, so that's fine. But I'm excited to see what your future holds. So
Thank you, Bryana. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye.